Okay, so we reached the part where the angel is talking with the devil in a guy's mind, and she says, now I'm going to give proofs to you of emptiness, and after you have learned them and appreciated them, you will for sure offer to leave this person's mind and let the angels take over this person's mind, okay? And we're on verse 57. And the angel goes in two parts. She discusses emptiness in two parts, okay? And these are very famous, okay? One is called, they call it, in Shantideva they call it the army, which is the idea that things are made of parts. So an army is made of many individual soldiers. And I can remember, a lot of my Buddhist training was in a small Mongolian monastery in New Jersey, and there was a very high Lama, Ken Rinpoche Geshe Losang Tarchen, and we spent 25 years in the same house. And the Mongolians were very poor, and they built the temple by themselves. And then they didn't have money, so they bought these really cheap wooden chairs, folding chairs. And so I took countless hours of classes sitting in these chairs, which were torture. And Rinpoche's classes were 3-4 hours long, oftentimes with no pee-pee break. And it was torture to sit in these chairs, And I remember he would always take at the end, he would invite everybody to stay for Mongolian tea, which is baking soda, nutmeg, salt, black tea, milk, and butter and cream in a churn. And but after sitting in those chairs for hours and hours, it was like a treat to go drink this stuff. And so I remember many pleasant conversations with the other students in the kitchen. And one woman had Chunila, right? So she had a daughter who was 6 or something. And I remember coming out of this discussion on parts and wholes, right? And I remember going to the tea break and talking to Janice, her mother's name is Carmen, because her mother liked the opera Carmen, and she named her daughter Janice because she liked Janis Joplin. And so I'm asking Janice, so are you your leg? And she goes, no, And I said, are you your arm? And she goes, no. And I say, are you all your parts together? And she goes, uh-huh. And then I'm like, wait, Nagarjuna said you're not, And I'm like, no, you're not. And she said, well, why? And I remember that I couldn't answer her, So I can't see this argument without thinking about her. And the point is, you can take all the parts of a car, for example, and you can lay them out on the ground, and you can even assemble them, but it's not necessarily the case that you would recognize it as a car or that you would see a car, right? There are many creatures who don't see a car as a car. And according to Buddhism, you would recognize the final part that every whole needs is the seed opening in your mind and a picture coming out and organizing the parts into a whole. You see what I mean? And until you have that final part, all the conventional parts together are not the whole thing. Because not everyone would recognize all the parts of a car, even if they were put together correctly. There are many beings, and in many times of history, that would not recognize it. It wouldn't be a car for them. That means those parts, even assembled into a whole, don't make the car, okay? If it did, then an Eskimo from the 13th century would say, oh, that's a Tesla, but they don't. So there's the final part of all wholes is that your mind must organize the parts into a thing, okay? And different beings with different seeds have different wholes to the same parts, right? If a dog sees the parts of a pen, they see something to chew on, okay? And that's a gentle proof that the whole is also depending on you, okay? So when Buddhism says, which is verse 57, okay, the next argument, she says, you are not your individual parts, that's easy. You are not something other than your parts, that's easy. But to say you are not all your parts together is not easy. And you have to understand that thing about the dog and the human with the pen, okay? So that's what Buddhism means when it says you are not the sum of your parts. Because you are not the real sum until you add a perception of all those parts together, an image that comes out of your mind and organizes all those parts together. That image is planted in your mind by something kind or something unkind that you've done to other people. Okay, got it? So your reality is coming, the gluing together of parts in your life has been done by the goodness or by the unkindness that you've shown to other people. Okay? So reality is coming from you. Okay. 57. That's her first argument to the devil. Okay? And according to her, these arguments are going to evict him from the mind. Why? What if he's an angry guy? What if he's a guy whose wife is always yelling at him in the kitchen? You see what I mean? He will enter the kitchen, she will yell at him, and he'll say, oh, you're just parts, arms, legs, head. And the reason I see a yelling wife is that I yelled at the kids last week, and I planted a yelling wife seed in my mind. And your arms and legs are just sticks and colors. The things you say to me are dentals and sibilants and fricatives. They're just sounds, you see? Then my mind, depending on how I treated the kids last week, organizes them into objects, okay? So the parts are not the whole, okay? So understanding that the parts are not the whole is not some philosophical exercise, okay? If you know how to use it on a husband or wife who's yelling at you, you can solve the problem, you see? You can correct the problem, all right? If you don't understand parts and wholes, you will not be able to. If you understand when your wife or husband yells at you, that the reason you're seeing those parts together as a yelling person is that you yelled at somebody last week, right? Then you will not get angry, and someone will have to leave the apartment in your head, which is, the devil will be forced out. Okay, got it? So wisdom is not just some kind of philosophy. It's something that you're supposed to use in the kitchen or in your office as a Colorado Springs controller, treasurer, boss. You need this kind of knowledge to make it fun at work and to make things go smoothly at work. Okay? All right. So she says, you are not your parts, you are not their combination, they are not you. She covers all possibilities. And then she concludes and she says, you are not you. Okay? She's talking to the devil. All right? Now, that's a static thing, you see? That's theoretically, if time were frozen and all the parts of the car were sitting there, you could discuss where does the whole car come from. It comes from a seed in your mind that you planted by what? If the car works, it's because you gave other people rides in the past, okay? Got it? That's why your mind organizes the parts into a car. That's why you are allowed to have a car that's working. It's only if you plant the seeds by helping other people to get somewhere. And this is where cars come from, okay? They don't come from Japan factories, okay? No, that's a devil talk, okay? That's devil talk. Cars are made in factories. That's devil talk. Okay, cars are not made in factories. Cars are made in minds by people who help other people get somewhere, who need to get somewhere, like refugees on the, what do they call that train? The death train, I think, that the refugees take from Central America up to the border. And that's where the rest stop is that we are funding, okay? They tend to jump on top. And now they're speeding the train up to see if they can make it fast enough that people can't get on top. So it's just more people dying trying to jump on it. Okay. Then, having discussed a static object in time, he says the same thing applies to objects over time. Okay, the stream of your consciousness today, where you woke up and you had a meditation here, and then you had a class, and then you had a break, then you had some kind of workshop that you didn't finish my assignment, and then tonight you have another class, okay? So you have been you for, I don't know, 10, 12 hours today, okay? So summer has continued from morning up to evening. So we can also look at why does she feel like the person in the morning was her, and the person at noon was her, and she still identifies with the person in the evening, okay? So the idea of a stream of parts over time is the second kind of emptiness meditation that she's proposing to evict him. This is his eviction notice, is the emptiness meditation, okay? And she says, over time, you are also empty. Why? Because over time, the moments of summer in the morning and the moments of summer at noon and the moments of summer in the evening, technically, they are not connected, okay? They are discrete moments. You know, one moment starts, one moment ends, and then a new moment starts and a new moment ends. What glues them together? You know, people who get Alzheimer's, the glue tends to break down. They can't remember who they were an hour ago. I was present at a conversation between Nick and the lady that I helped, and he used to do her garden. And she's like, oh, Nikki, which I hate because she has a crush on him and she doesn't care about me. She's 94, you know. And she's, oh, Nikki came, you know. And she said, Nikki, you know, what are you up to? And he said, oh, me and my wife are doing stuff, you know, blah, blah. Okay. Then like 30 seconds later, she said, oh, Nikki, you're here. What are you up to? And he was patient till the fourth or fifth time. And then he said, I just told you what I've been doing, you know. So what happens is you lose the glue, you see. The mind stops making images that glue the you of half an hour ago to the you of present, okay? And then people can't recognize their relatives and stuff like that, okay? The what do you call it? The unifying image that comes out of your mind gets weaker with age, as the seeds age, okay? And then you forget things and you can't glue things together anymore, okay? All right. So she's giving those two arguments to him, okay? Then she says, these are marmahata. Who can tell me what's marmahata? Yeah, marma means killing. Yeah, like mortuary or murder, okay? Hata? Yeah, the verbal root. The cognate? You're good. Okay. Anyway, now she's going to talk about killing points, okay? Killing point means, in English we say go for the jugular here, right? I have a friend, he helped run Vajrapani Institute. He was a director there. He moved to Hawaii. He was making him and his wife a new house. He tripped on a board. A nail scratched him here, and he bled to death in about 5 minutes. She just stood there and watched him. She can't do anything. This is a marmahata. If you nick this vein, you're dead. Nothing can help you, you see? So she's identifying marmahatas in him, okay? She's interested in killing him. Is that Buddhist? Yes. In the case of your misunderstanding in your mind, you are required to be merciless, okay? You are looking for jugular points, okay? These emptiness arguments are meant to nick the jugular of the devil in your mind, okay? And that's on an hour-to-hour basis. I repeat it, okay? The purpose of this 3-day course is that you get sensitized to what your mind is saying all day long. Everybody's day is made of 2 activities. Number 1, getting the things you want. Number 2, avoiding the things you don't like, okay? All human beings, stream of mind, the whole day, every thought you have is aimed at that. You either don't want something or you want something, okay? And there's only 2 ways to get something, okay? Number 1, follow the devil's insane non-method, okay? Why is it a bad method, or why is it a non-method? Competing with others, fighting to be number 1, ignoring what others want, focus. I hate this book that came out, Watching Out for Number 1 or something like that. And it was a New York Times bestseller. Liberate yourself, be who you really want to be. Just tell everybody else you're too busy to help them. And take care of number 1, okay? Then this is the first option you have to get things or to avoid things, okay? Just take care of yourself, focus on your own needs. You know, you're also one of the people in the world. You're supposed to help all the people in the world. Why not start with yourself and just focus on that one for the rest of your life? You know, this is the argument, okay? So according to this system, you need to serve another person to plant a seed. You see, you cannot plant one of those karmic seeds, which is creating things around you, if you don't have another person to help. I think those of us who've done 3-year retreat, one thing about 3-year retreat, I don't know about you guys, but it was frustrating for me that I had to pray all day for other people, but I couldn't do anything for other people. You see what I mean? And it was frustrating to sit there for 3 years and plan what I'm going to do to help other people when I get out. Someone wrote a song, right? Yeah, a guy wrote a song called When I Get Out. They came on tour with me after 3-year retreat. We went to Johor Bahru, Malaysia. There were 1,800 people in the audience. I gave them a 5-minute warning that they were going to sing a song. And they got up and they sang a song called What I'm Going to Do When I Get Out. And it sounded like a Johnny Cash Folsom Prison thing, you know. And anyway, so we're looking for killing points. She's looking for killing points, okay? And this is a holy war, right? She should destroy the tendency in her mind, which you and I have all day, to think up wrong strategies to get the things we want and to avoid the things we don't want, okay? Every strategy, normal strategy that you've ever used in all the moments of your life were mistaken. They were devil's work, okay? You know, I want to break into the movies, right? So I should try to find someone who's a director, or, you know, I should call my friend, or I should check on the internet. And then you spend the whole day doing that, you see? And according to this teaching, the only way to break into the movies would be to help someone else break into the movies. There's a lady who came to me when I was in the diamond business in New York. She begged me for a job, you know, and so I tried her for a day, and then I said, forget it. You know, she wanted to be an actress, you know. I said, but her father wanted her to work. So I said, you know, just forget it. You know, you're never going to be a secretary. Go try to be an actress, you know. Then she's called Uma Thurman, and her father always thanks me for telling her that. Okay. So, 62. The angel, before we start off on 26 wrong ways to do Mahamudra meditation, emptiness of your mind, okay? Not just any old emptiness. Every object has its own emptiness. Mahamudra meditation focuses on the emptiness of your own mind, okay? Which is the most powerful kind of emptiness. So before she gets off on 26 wrong Mahamudra meditations, she talks up the correct one, okay? So here's her description, all right? So first, for about, 10 verses, she goes off on what's a good Mahamudra meditation. Number 1, the illusion is torn, the root is ripped out, the poison tree is felled, okay? And that's a reference to an ancient Seiji. Where are you? Yeah, oh, you're busy. You want to talk about killing points? Are you shy? Or you're not shy? I didn't prepare him. I didn't warn him. Come up here and teach killing points. He translated the text. He translated the ancient book recently. Do you mind? Just like a couple minutes, okay? Killing points, especially trees.
Oh, okay. So there's, in the book that I'm translating, there's 3 examples. Oh, it's called Deathless. The book that I'm translating is called Deathless Nectar for Helping Others. It's a class on the crown of knives. And there's 3 examples of killing points. The first one is if you're trying to bring down this big tree, you can come at it from different angles. You can have an army of woodsmen. But if you know exactly what the killing point is, you just use a little metal, like a spile. It's called a spile. It's like a metal, a piece of metal, and then you take out all the essence, and the tree falls on itself. Then the second one is if you're trying to kill an animal, you it's kind of dark, but it's very cool. You can try to cut the animal at different points, but if you know the killing point of the animal with just same thing, with just a little bit of effort, you find the killing point, and it's almost instantaneous. And then the third one is about a mechanism that describes on the treasure house of higher knowledge that there's this whole mechanism made of pulleys that you go in the entrance, and there's like these guards that have swords, and there's this like a lake with sharks and crocodiles. And if you know exactly where the killing point of the mechanism is, you can just throw a wrench at it, and the whole system comes down.
Yeah. Okay, good. So, this is an ancient legend about a king who had a treasure house, and he wanted to protect it, so he built all these nefarious mechanisms, including robots with swords, and sharks with metal teeth, and they were all hooked up to a pulley. So if you're trying to steal the gold, don't bother to fight all these guys. Just go around the Wizard of Oz curtain and cut the rope that runs the whole thing, you know. So the idea is, if you understand that this stuff is coming from you, if the husband who's coming from you, you can cut the unhappy marriage in about 10 minutes. You don't have to go through 10 years of struggle with this guy who's calling you names, negotiating, staying up all night, long discussions. Forget it. Just plant some seeds in your own mind. Help some friend who's having trouble with their husband. That will plant seeds in your mind, and your husband will suddenly become pliable and cooperative and do everything you want. You see? So it's about a 10-minute killing point. Don't spend 10 years struggling through a bad marriage, okay? The killing point is here. The place to fix the husband is here, without discussion, without trouble, okay? And that applies to all your other relationships. All right. So verse 62, she says, go for the killing point. And she mentions the tree that Seiji mentioned, okay? Which is a famous palm tree type in South India. And if you drive a spike into a certain point in the root system, it'll fall down by itself in about a week. You see, and it's about the size of a redwood. So in those days, it would take about 20 guys a couple days to chop it down. But if you know the killing point, so the killing point here is the husband who's yelling at you is proceeding from seeds in your mind. Fix him here. And then it's like a 10-minute thing. It's a 10-minute fix. Instead of struggling during a whole marriage, okay? It would be so powerful as a marriage technique, marriage counseling technique, right? Okay? All right. If the husband's not coming from you, you should go to a marriage counselor and you should go through 10 years of therapy, okay? If he's not coming from you, then you have to do that, okay? No choice. If he's coming from you, stick a spike here. No, fix it here in a few minutes, and then it's over. It's all over with. It will fall down by itself, okay? All right. Then she says, if I can stop this devil, which is the state of mind that doesn't realize that the husband's coming from me, if I can fix him, then his extended family will have to move out also. Who's the extended family? Jealousy, hatred, 84,000 variations on negative emotions. You know, me and my brother, we used to have an occasional gang fight when we were in high school. I don't know, were you ever there? No. We'd known each other since we were 17. There's a rule in gang fight. You go for the other leader, okay? You ignore all these other guys. You just go for this guy and you punch him in the head. And this is the principle with your brain also, okay? So go for the misunderstanding of where things are coming from. You knock him down, everybody else has to move out of your apartment, okay? Got it? Are you guys sleepy? Do you need, what'd you have for dinner? I don't know. Okay, I'll try to be more animated. Let's see. By the way, the negative emotions in your mind, okay, verse 64, they are destroyable because they never started. They are destroyable because they never started, okay? Meaning, they never depended on outside causes and conditions, which when present, in the next moment, created these negativities in your mind. That's not where they're coming from. They are coming from past seeds in your mind, okay? They are not caused by being hungry or not making enough money or being upset with, they're not caused by that. They're caused by seeds in your own mind, okay? You are a witness in your mind. There's somebody talking in your mind, and it's not you. Why? Because you can hear them. What do you mean, Geshe-la? If you can hear them, you're not saying them. Okay, got it? And there's always a time gap between someone talking and you hearing, okay? Summer says something to me. It takes so many milliseconds for the sound waves to hit my ear. And by the time I hear what she's saying, she is gone, okay? She is gone. So, who put the negativities in your mind? Who's thinking them? Who's listening? You're listening. But if you're listening, you're not talking, okay? That's what Veronica always tells me. If I finally figured it out. Yeah, okay? So, who's talking in your mind? Seeds are talking. Thoughts are coming out of karmic seeds in your mind, okay? According to what you said to people last week, okay? Then you planted seeds. The karmic seeds are cracking open. Every time a karmic seed cracks open, somebody talks in your mind, okay? You want to go deeper? When I talk in China, everybody's like, "Ah!" When I talk in America, I'm like, "Yeah, man. You want to go deeper?" Okay. You cannot correct the conversation in your mind. It's not possible. This whole class is a bogus class. Okay? It's not possible to do what we're talking about. Okay? What you hear in your mind is coming out of a karmic seed that was planted last week. You cannot stop what your mind is saying now. It's too late. My first meditation teacher was Goenka. His big thing was you can't push a tree back down in the ground. You know, by the time you hear the thought, the seed is planted a week ago. Okay, you cannot stop the devil from talking in your mind. It's not possible. Am I right? No. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having a class. Okay. You can affect how the devil talks next week, but you cannot affect how the devil talks today. I don't care if you have shishin. I don't care if you're monitoring your mind. I don't care if you catch your mind and decide to change the conversation. You cannot. Okay? You are listening to thoughts that were planted last week. Okay? You are the victim of your seeds. Okay? This is what she's saying. Okay? He's the king of negativities, and negativities come out of him. Okay? But those negativities in your mind never started. Okay? Meaning, they were planted last week, okay? They didn't come up in your mind this week, okay, got it? You can affect your state of mind next week, but you can't affect it right now. If you're depressed, you have to be depressed. Okay, so verse 65, what's the nature of the mind? I mean, Mahamudra is the meditation on the nature of the mind. What's the nature of the mind? $100 question. Nah, we're talking Nargujinian language. Make it cute. The nature of the mind is... Forget it. One day I asked a question that depended on the name of my 5th grade teacher, and I bet $3,000 in Guadalajara, right? And that guy answered it. I lost $3,000. Took me so long to pay him. Anyway, I've learned if I just go fast, no one can give the answer. Or if I pretend I didn't hear it. Okay, the nature of the mind is that it doesn't have a nature, okay? All right? Of its own, okay? The nature of the mind is that it does not have a nature of its own. The only nature that the mind has is to be a blank slate. Okay, it has no nature of its own. Okay, it will have whatever nature your seeds impose on it. Okay, which are imposed on you by what you did last week. Okay, and those are imposed on you by what you did the week before. Is it possible to break out of the cycle? Yes, but only because it's possible to contradict the devil. Okay, all right. Verse 66. Masam Julende from the Vajrayogini Sadhana, $200. Masam Julende. Come on, you did it for 3 years. You did it for 1,000 days. But you did it in English. I know. That's why I bet so much money. Masam Julende means cannot be expressed in words and cannot be framed in thought. Okay? And that's this emptiness. This emptiness is described. What is it? How did the translation go? Beyond all words and thought. Yeah. So verse 66, she quotes this line to the devil. What I'm teaching you is beyond all words and thoughts. Okay. All right. Is it really? By the way, in Buddhism, why they call emptiness beyond description is not that it's beyond description, because Buddhism spent 25 centuries describing it. So it's foolish to say it's beyond description. Okay, if it's beyond description, why is there 141,000? How many books? Where's Christina? We are cataloging 185,000 books right now in Mongolia. So don't tell me no one can describe emptiness. But we can say that when a person has seen it directly and you talk to that person, they are going to have trouble communicating to you exactly what it was. Okay? That's all. When they say emptiness is beyond description, it means a person who has experienced it directly may have trouble describing it to another person. Okay? It cannot be described in a way that the person listening will be able to understand it completely. It's impossible. Okay? All right. 67. This is the antidote which fixes itself. Okay? Now you can just skip over those verses. They just sound like these cute little koan things. But it's not true. Okay? That also has meaning. Okay? The antidote to our misunderstanding is these proofs about why a dog looks at a pen and sees a chew toy, right? They see the same parts. Why don't they see the same object? It proves that some final part must be coming out of their mind, okay? It proves it. So if you describe people, if you describe the pen to people, normal people, they are misunderstanding it while you're explaining it, okay? Because they cannot see directly that it's coming from their mind. Got it? While I'm holding up the pen and I'm describing why it's coming from you, you have a feeling deep in your heart that it's coming from the pen. And even if I tell you in words what's going on, you cannot at that moment stop feeling that it's coming from the pen, okay? And so in a sense, the words I'm using, you are also misunderstanding them, okay? But in time, if I keep using those words, you will have a direct perception of emptiness, okay? So the antidote is broken, okay? The words I use to describe to you the pen, you take to come from me. They are the antidote to your problems. Your problems are you think that things are coming from me. While I'm explaining the antidote to you, you think those words are coming from me. Got it? But the antidote fixes itself in time. If you hear it enough times, you start to realize that Geshe-la's words are coming from you. And then if you're a speaker, if you're a public speaker in the Buddhism business, you can point out that if you don't like something I said, it's coming from you, okay? If you do like something I said, that's coming from me, okay? Then you see if people laugh or not. If they don't laugh, you didn't explain it very well. Okay, now, ekarasa, single song, one taste, right? Rochik in Tibetan. That's verse 68. She's describing real Mahamudra meditation before she goes on to 26 different wrong ways to meditate, okay? And I think we learn more from the wrong ways. By the way, I've suspected something and I checked it today. She doesn't get to talk after the next few lines. The rest of the book that I've translated, I haven't finished it, but it's all the devil talking. It's incredible. Every single one of 26 wrong emptiness meditations are being described by the devil. And he says, it's so nice. People are doing these meditations. It's so wonderful. I'm so safe. As long as they keep meditating like this. But then it's interesting because the devil corrects each one. Okay, in the text, the devil corrects, he knows what's an emptiness meditation. He doesn't want people doing it. But he points out how they're wrong. Okay? It's kind of intriguing that it would take the devil to understand why a meditation is wrong and to correct it. She doesn't get to talk after that. He talks. I'm not aware that she has another line in the whole play. It probably towards the end, I would hope, but I'm not sure. Okay, we call single song. Anybody want to take a shot for $0 word? I learned not to bet him money. Why would she say a good Mahamudra meditation, the flavor, is a single song. What single song mean? What does a single song? Nyambanyi, equalness. The equalness of all things. What does that mean? How's that? Yeah, all things are equally empty, okay? All things are equally not coming from their side. All things are equally not coming from their side. Stated positively, all things are equal in coming from how you treated people last week, okay? All things in your world are equal in coming from how you treated people last week, okay? Don't complain. You know, among a well-trained Buddhist group, which I'm happy to say you are, among a well-trained Buddhist group, there's a joke, you know. Somebody says, there's this person who showed up. Yeah? They're the most irritating person I ever met. And everybody's like, why? Everything's a mirror, right? All things are a mirror, okay? You know, be careful when you complain about other people. If you're sitting among knowledgeable Buddhists and you complain a lot about other people, they're like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're surrounded by incompetence, Geshe. Yeah, I understand. Okay, got it? So all things in your life are equal in that they are coming from you. On a higher level, they are equal in not coming from you. Okay? Double negative. All things are equal in not coming from you. In Sanskrit, eka rasa. Everything is one taste. One taste. All things have the... I translate it as a single song. Everything is a single song. Okay, got it? Bad things, good things. Devils and angels both. They are the same in one sense. They are coming from you. There's no devil, there's no angel you would ever meet who's not coming from you. Okay? That's emptiness. Got it? Okay, good. You know, just to make sure you're not asleep, go like this every once in a while. My older students have the skill to go like this every few minutes. When they're totally asleep, you know. Okay. Then she says, to the state of mind, which is in a good Mahamudra meditation, there is no Buddha, there is no Dharma, there is no Sangha. How can you be there? Okay? There's no Buddha, there's no Dharma, there's no three jewels. You know, what? You think you're more important? Like Buddha's not there, Dharma's not there, Sangha's not there, but you should be there, ignorance? Okay? Like you're more important than the three jewels? What's he mean? What do you mean no Buddha, Dharma, Sangha? Yeah, when you're in the direct perception of emptiness, you cannot perceive what we call deceptive three jewels. The physical symbols of the three jewels, statues, temples, books, okay? They're called the fake three jewels, okay? They're not the real knowledge. They are physical, okay? But while you're in the direct perception of emptiness, you cannot perceive a physical event, okay? It's not possible, okay? So don't, what do you call it? Don't be so, what do you call it? Napoleonic complex. Delusions of grandeur, devil, that you would be there when the three jewels are not. Okay, got it? Don't have such a high opinion of yourself that you get to be in a place where the three jewels don't get to enter, which is what? The direct perception of emptiness. Okay, good. Which is the Holy Grail, and if you get there, your body starts to change into an angel, and you can't stop it, okay? 20 minutes, just 20 minutes in your life. And you don't have to worry about death or anything, okay? Just get there. All right, now, There's a thing called Jetopyeshi. You want to go for it, Nick?
After you see the direct perception of this,
Yeah.
you perceive the four higher truths.
Yeah.
You have a series of events that happen to you.
Okay, good. And she says, don't, what do you call that? Don't have these delusions of grandeur where you, devil, believe that you could be in a human mind during the direct perception of emptiness, okay? But what do you think the next verse says? Yeah, great. Nick said it perfectly. I'm so glad I didn't bet any money. In the moments, in the hours, typically, 8 hours, 10 hours after the direct perception of emptiness, you have these extraordinary experiences, okay? You see all living beings in the universe directly, one by one, and have feelings of love for each one, okay? For example, okay? And then during this time, is the devil present in your mind or not? If you're perceiving every living creature, human or not, on every planet in the universe, countless planets, if you can do that within a half hour's time and feel the love of a mother for each one of them, okay? Is it even possible in those moments to have the devil in your mind? And we say, yes. Pieces of him are still there, okay? After the direct perception, when you come out, you still are making mistakes, okay? That's why you got 9 more bodhisattva levels to go, okay? All right. And she's admitting that in verse 70, okay? Verse 71. Unexamined, the world is fine. If you don't ask where things are coming from, okay, you can get through your day. You know, things happen, and you're not going to be paralyzed, okay? But if you start asking where does it come from? Where's the real, husband who's yelling at you? The conclusion is he's not there, okay? There is no such thing. So unexamined, parts of your day can just be unexamined, okay? Just eat the pizza. Don't worry about where it's coming from, okay? No, not okay. Don't let the devil in your mind even while you're eating pizza. Okay. Then she says, cause and effect is just the cosmic play of names. Anyone want to take a shot at the names? Huh? That's close. Give it to me better. When Buddhism says the world is a creation of names, what does the word name refer to? Yeah, exactly. It's not verbalizations, okay? When Buddhism says the world is a result of names, it's not Nick and Word and Phil, okay? It's not that. In Buddhism, the word name is a code word for the image, luminous image. Why do I say luminous? On the day you see those images, you will realize that they have a sort of a neon character to them, okay? They are like lights, like a pen image, as it comes out of a karmic seed, has its own luminous nature. It's a mental nature, okay? It's coming out of the mind, okay? It's an image of the mind. And the mind is defined as luminous, okay? Which we're coming to later. So as a luminous image comes, as karmic seeds crack open, and images come out of pens or people or yelling husbands, okay? Those images in Buddhism are called names. And they say everything is just names, okay? But it's very confusing, okay? It doesn't mean Vimala, Daniel. It doesn't mean that, okay? Get used to it, okay? The word name in Buddhism, when they say everything is just a product of names, doesn't mean Gyeltsen or Share or Mom, okay? It doesn't mean that. It means images coming out of your mind, okay? You can have silence and you're still creating the world with names. Got it? Yay, I got one nod from Gyeltsen. Congratulations on becoming suddenly because of the premature birth of a baby, the director of Diamond Mountain, for the next 6 months. The former director and his wife had a baby 3 months early, right? I think she got off the plane and this thing jumped out. And she's healthy. He's healthy. He's fine. Okay, he's a 24-week baby, which is just about as fast as you can do it. There's a tradition in Buddhism that Lord Buddha came out of his mother's side because it was quicker and less painful. So I have a feeling Melissa had enough karma that it was something like that. Okay, seriously, much less trouble, right? Boop. All right. If you dig beyond the names, verse 73, okay? If you dig beyond the names, is there anything there? Is there a pen in the part of the pen before you think of it as a pen? No, okay? And that's a famous Buddhist thing. Before the name is applied to the thing is not what it's named. Okay? Means, before the karmic seed cracks open and a unifying image comes out of the mind, then the parts of a pen are not a pen yet. And the parts of a car are not a car yet, okay? That's the final part that's always needed when you're building a car, okay? It's a karmic seed opening. So car companies should what? Encourage people to give other people rides because more cars would be sold. I'm talking, someday we should write a book about an enlightened world, what the kind of weird stuff that would be going on. But, Toyota would be encouraging you to pick up strangers who need rides, so they could sell more cars. Okay? Yeah, that'd be nice. All right. Now, verse 74. Until you realize that the pictures in your mind, which we call names, are creating your world, trying to manipulate your world without using those images, she calls it exhausting. She just says one word. Who's she? The angel. She says, look, until you get it, life is exhausting, okay? Trying to rearrange objects outside. The husband goes to the marriage counselor, like that. Trying to arrange outside objects is exhausting. Fix the world here. Fix the world here is so much easier. It goes so much better, okay? It works every time, okay? It's not like trying to rearrange objects outside. Okay, got it? And the goal of this class is that in the next few weeks, you have a heightened awareness of the internal discussion going on your mind. I'm going to name DCI level 11. It came to me, internal, what's it called? Hang on. I'm always trying to think of what's the next DCI level. We do one every year. And it's stressful for me. Okay, I got it. DCI level 11, inner conversations. Okay, the subtitle is Obvious Secret Success Technique. Why obvious secret? Huh? You listen to your mind all day, every waking moment. From the moment you open your eyes, sometimes before you open your eyes, you are listening to your mind, right? But you never hear it. You see, it's right in front of you. How to fix the world is right in front of you. It's this far away. You could drill in a 1/4 inch. It's that far away, the secret to reality. It's always been that far away. The discussion in your own mind, popping out of karmic seeds. You see what I mean? The fix for the whole world is about a 1/4 inch under your skin here. And you don't know. It's been with you your whole life. You see what I mean? So to learn to listen to the conversation in your own mind is like a hidden open secret. It's an open secret. Maybe I should call it open secret or obvious secret. I don't know. Open secret's not sexy enough. Obvious means it's in your face all day and you don't get it. Okay? Your mind is in your face all day, but you don't get it. You see? Your mind is creating the world. You don't have to go farther than a quarter inch in to find solutions for things you want or things you want to avoid. Okay? Got it? You don't have to go outside. Okay? Forget it. Don't solve things outside of yourself. I'll take questions later, okay? Okay. Don't forget the question. But I'm on a roll. I am giving you a break, but I want you to suffer first. When I first went to the monastery, it was a refugee camp. And we lived in refugee huts. And the teacher would sit on their bed, which was a small macrame bed. And we would sit, squashed up next to the teacher. And we were all crushed in there in the refugee hut together. And it would start to rain. And the water would go dung, 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 and it was about 120 degrees, and the water's like spreading on your head, and you have to sit there for 4 hours. You are not allowed to ask a question. You are not allowed to go pee-pee. And if your eyes go off the teacher, you get whipped. And I always said to myself, I'm going to do this to my students when I get there. I'm just waiting to do this. Okay, right word? I did it to you guys. They start at 6:30. Sometimes they end at 6. Okay. So the point of verse 74, look, it's exhausting to live your life without understanding where stuff is coming from. It just takes so much more work, to send your husband for counseling, blah, blah, blah. Get your friends to talk to him, blah, blah, blah. It's so exhausting to do all this stuff for 10 years, and then divorce him anyway, okay? Or you could just fix him here in about 10 minutes, okay? And it's so exhausting to do it the other way. Who's talking? The angel. She's like, come on, get it straight. Now, here's her next statement, verse 75. I'll give you a break at 8:15, okay? 13 more minutes, hang in there. Try to look interested, all right. She says, boys were old men from the day of their birth. She just pops up with this thing, okay? Suddenly she says, she's been convincing him why he doesn't know anything. And then she says, by the way, boys have been old men since the day of their birth, okay? And thinking differently is a mistake, okay? To look upon a young child is to see a person who will die, okay? To look upon a nice, beautiful baby is to see a person in the nursing home dying, okay? It's the same thing, okay? And then, why does she suddenly come up with something like that, which is conventional wisdom and not emptiness wisdom? Yes or not? Is it a conventional wisdom to appreciate the impermanence of life? Is that emptiness teaching or not? Come on, you guys are waffling now. You see, there is a connection between waffles and meeting waffling people the same day.
It's conventional.
It seems conventional, but what's one of the lowest versions of emptiness? Impermanence. But when you talk about emptiness, you have to talk about something not being something impossible. That's gakcha. That's emptiness. What is impermanence empty of? Yeah, things that last forever. Children who don't die in nursing homes, okay? Young children, infants who are born this month who don't die in nursing homes, okay? The world is devoid of those. That's one of the emptinesses in the world. It's a lower emptiness, but it's an important emptiness. Tak chig rawan chengi tak utpala. Tak chig rawan chen. Huh? Takpa. Chikpa. Wait, that's her book. Huh? Takpa? unchanging. Chik. Chik. Rang Wang Chen. Rang Wang. Independent. Yeah. That's the lowest kind of self-existent object. Okay? In Buddhism. Lowest school. Okay? What's a non-existent thing in the lowest school? A baby who will not die in the nursing home. Okay? Doesn't exist. Gakcha. Impossible thing. Emptiness is empty of that. Emptiness is empty of that. Okay, got it? She throws it in to remind you of other kinds of emptiness, okay? Got it? Or else she's ADD, which I doubt. Okay. Then she goes off on some poetry. You can read it, okay? If you want to make a note, 76, 77, 78. And she compares emptiness to the clouds in the sky. Conditions convene, clouds come together, rain comes down, which she calls emptiness, okay? And the clouds are illusion, and then they return to the empty sky, okay? So she goes off on some poetry. Verse 78 is, same with your body, okay? She's back to the kid. She's back to the kid. Your body comes together like a brief rain, what do you call what's a small rainstorm? A drizzle or something, I don't know. Yeah, the parts of your body and mind float together, almost serendipitously, and you get the honor of being alive for a short time, and then they float back to where they were, okay? That's all. Okay, I got 4 more minutes and I'm going to use it. If you keep working on Mahamudra meditation, you will see how your own body is the result of seeds opening in your mind, okay? And if you're clever or wise, you can keep making those seeds, or you can adjust your body to a deathless body, okay? Possible, all right? Which is part of the goal of Buddhism. Then verse 80, things do come into your life, people you know, your loved ones, and people do drift out of your life, okay? But it's not people, it's those little images popping out of your seeds, okay? She's like, people drift into your life, you're allowed a few years to know them, and then karma tears you apart inevitably, almost. But it's not people leaving people, it's images drifting away. It's seeds opening with different images, okay? She wants you to understand that loss in your life is not outside. Loss is coming from seeds wearing out that could have been replenished if you had known how. Okay, got it? 81. The reflection of the moon of wisdom appears in the still water of emptiness of the mind. Okay, what's it mean? To see emptiness, which is the only thing that can save you, the mind has to be still enough to reflect the image of emptiness, which means you need to learn conventional meditation techniques, okay? You must learn to still the mind to the speed, to a slow enough speed that you can see emptiness, okay? If you don't learn to slow the mind and make it quiet, you will never see a karmic seed open and images come out. It's not possible. They are coming out 65 per second. Okay? If you don't reach deep state of meditation, you can never observe what I'm talking about. The day you see it directly, you don't need me anymore. I mean, not much. I also buy refreshments and stuff. But I saw some nice Star of David cookies at the store, and we brought them. Tonight is a holiday of a Buddhist angel called Vajrayogini, she's partial to Stars of David, so right? You have to eat one, okay? I mean, I couldn't bring that many. You'll have to eat one of the 6 points and... Okay, all right. Anyway, verse 81, you have to slow your mind down if you want to see emptiness. Mahamudra requires other, more basic meditation skills of learning to slow down your mind, okay? Before you get on to content, all right? All right, don't mistake the method for the content, okay? There's lots of meditations which are all slowing the mind down so you can think about nothing, which is exactly the result you get. Okay. When you slow the mind down enough, verse 82, you will be able to see the images opening in your mind. And you'll be able to see that things are coming from you. And then you'll be able to see directly how to fix your husband. Okay? Okay. Okay, one more, and we'll take a break. You can waste your time trying to solve your problems on the outside, but in the end, you're going to have to deal with your own seeds, okay? So you might as well go there now. There's a big thing in Buddhism about, okay, you want to take the slow way? Go ahead. Do it for 5 years. Try to fix your husband for 5 years or 10 years, okay? If you really want to, I'm not stopping you. But in the end, you're going to come back to the seeds and fix him in a few weeks, okay? With your seeds, okay? And the nice thing about fixing your husband with your seeds is you don't have to talk to him, okay? I think that's the best advertisement for the Buddhist marriage counseling, okay? You can fix your husband without talking to your husband, okay? It's like perfect, okay? Life is perfect. All right, we're going to take a 15-minute break. When you come back, have some questions ready, okay? We'll do questions just to wake you up. Then when the sugar kicks in, I'll start back on the philosophy. Questions? Oh, Manny has a question. You have a microphone? I promised Manny first dibs.
Check 1, 2. So it's sort of a follow-up to the earlier question about, the nature of the mind. When we talk about past and future lives in the proof, one of the assumptions has to be, there's the one about the stuff of mind cannot be created or destroyed, just like we learned in physics class in high school. So that stuff, my stuff is different than her stuff, is different from your stuff, right? It's discrete stuff. Is that stuff the same thing that we were talking about earlier, which is the Buddha nature, that thing that has always existed, still exists? It sounds like an unchanging thing, but it's stuff, which implies some sort of physicality or thing.
Okay.
And so there's a little confusion I have around that.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. I like to think of the mind as a long spaghetti noodle with no ends. And it just keeps going and going and going. And I remember when I was first learning Buddhism, and from my early years with my Lama were interesting because he was learning my culture and I was learning his culture. So we used to have these kind of weird discussions, like he would tell me about the monkey and the ogress, who were the first beings on this planet, and I'd say, no, it was Adam and Eve. And we would have these weird cultural clash discussions, And then I remember when we were discussing the beginning of the universe, and I was condescendingly explaining to this person who never saw a bicycle in his life, why the people who invented the airplane were more intelligent, right? And why we had it right, and why science was correct. And he said, what's the one overriding principle of science? I said wisely, from my high school training, all things have causes, And then he talked and talked and talked, and, he was the best debater out of 15,000 monks in Tibet. He got the award. He wasn't a Geshe. he was a Laramba Geshe. He wasn't a Laramba Geshe. He was an Angidambo Laramba Geshe, which means, what do you call it? He was the best debater out of 15,000 monks. So he would set you up like 15 minutes before. You know, it's like a chess player, you know. He'd say, oh yeah, the science, yeah. You guys, you know, flying steel through the sky, you guys are amazing. You're much more advanced than us, you know. And then he'd go on, and he'd say, yeah, well, so what was the first thing? How did things start? I'd say, yeah, everything has to have a beginning, you know. And he said, well, what's that? And I'd say, oh, it's the Big Bang, you know. And he'd say, oh, is that the beginning? I said, yeah. And he said, well, what caused the Big Bang? I said, nothing, you know. Oh, so in the philosophy which says all things have a cause, the thing that caused everything doesn't have a cause. Yeah, that's good. You know. And then I'd be like, well, what do you think started the universe? And he'd say, well, obviously there's no beginning, because you can't have a thing without something to cause it. So that already proves there's no beginning, and that's comfortable. We're comfortable with that. We're uncomfortable with you having to have a Big Bang. That's uncomfortable. There's a little bang before the Big Bang. No, you know. So anyway, mind, according to Buddhism, continues on endlessly. Mind stream. It has no beginning, but it's not physical, but it's not emptiness. And there's a basic distinction that we learn in DCI level 7, that the universe can be divided into positive things and negative things, okay? So emptiness is a negative entity, meaning it's the absence of something, okay? Is there an elephant between you and me right now? No. Does that absence exist? Yeah, if it didn't exist, there'd be an elephant here. Got it? Okay? So, emptiness is the absence of something, okay? And something like the mind is a positive entity, okay? It has awareness, it has some kind of continuation, right, to it. So, emptiness. Now, Buddha nature, I think we didn't quite nail it down. V accused me of not nailing it down. I'm not supposed to say what we say in the car, right? Okay. But you know I can't keep my mouth shut. So she said, you know, you didn't really finish the answer to that guy. Yeah, okay. The Buddha nature in a person is an absence, okay? It is not a positive quality, okay? The Buddha nature in a person that you have always had and will always have is the fact that you don't come from nothing, okay? The fact that you don't not come from seeds. Okay, got it? So that part of, there's only one part of you which will still be the same after you get enlightened. And that's your emptiness. The fact that you don't come from nothing. Okay? The fact that you are not something which is not coming from seeds. That fact applies to you from the moment you're born. Okay? It's not true about Vimala at any point in her life that she is not coming from seeds. Okay? It is not true about Vimala at any point in her life that her current condition is not coming from her seeds, okay? And that is Vimala's Buddha nature. And because of that fact, it is inevitable that she will become a Buddha if she's not already, okay? Cool? So that's the difference. Buddha nature is an absence of not coming from your mind, okay? And the mind is a positive entity. It's not physical, but it's positive entity, okay? It's awareness. It's continued awareness. And we'll talk about it, because it's one of the wrong Mahamudra meditation gets into that. Okay, other question? I owe him a question in the back. Yeah.
Earlier you were talking about the obvious secret that we have in our forehead, you know, and I was curious, what happens when you're aware of that obvious secret?
Yeah, good.
And how
Okay.
does it affect, your daily life and interactions with others?
Yeah, good question. Well, in Buddhism they say lexo, lexo. Well spoken, well spoken. From the moment of our first awareness of ourselves, we are aware of a conversation in our head, right? You are listening to that conversation all day. In fact, one of the parts of growing up is when your mother says, don't say everything that's happening in your head to other people. Like, don't talk about the conversation you had in the car. Not everything in your mind at the moment should be spoken out loud. And then, that's sort of a milestone in your childhood when you realize, you shouldn't tell your aunt everything you're thinking about your aunt because it might hurt her feelings. I remember the day, and my mom said, you don't have to say everything you think about your aunt to your aunt because sometimes it might hurt her feelings, So some things can be thought in your mind, but don't express them to everybody around you. And then you start to have an internal life. You start to have an internal conversation. And you start to draw boundaries between the internal conversation that you're allowed to mention and the internal conversation that you don't mention, okay? But that internal conversation itself, if you learn Mahamudra as a meditation technique, means learning to plug into the internal conversation and watch it and evaluate it and then improve it. You see what I mean? And in this class, all I want you guys to do, not very long, just for the rest of your life, okay? Plug into the conversation going on in your mind. It's either gonna be you want something or you want to avoid something. 99% of human conversation, internal conversation, is how do I get this today? And very depressed people, I remember I was shocked. I met one of the wealthiest people in the world, and I became her teacher for a while. And she said, some days I don't get out of bed. And I'm like, you're one of the wealthiest people on this planet, and you don't get out of bed for the whole day? She says, right. I say, why? She says, there's nothing I want to do. I have nothing to do. I have no goal. I'm depressed. I want to be depressed all day. I'm going to stay in bed. And I'm like, wow. I never had this problem. I never had enough money to have this problem. And I had to get up. So anyway, if you get out of bed, it's usually because you want something. You want something to happen that day. Or you want to avoid somebody that day, and you have to get out of your house before they come. So, if you evaluate the discussion going on in your mind constantly, what I want you to do is just check one thing, Is this discussion foolish or intelligent, okay? Foolish means, today I have to do this and this and this to get this and this and this. I have to exhaust myself by manipulating outside objects. Gyeltsen will have to go over there, Dennis will have to go back there, Scott will have to say this, and I will control the outside world and I will make them all do what I want, you see? And then by the end of the day, I'll have what I want, you see? That's the devil talking. Angel talking is, I would like to find someone that I can serve today so I can plant the seeds to have what I want tomorrow happen to me without effort. Got it? So all I want you to do, if you graduate from this class, the certificate is here. That you watch your mind, start to get the habit of watching the internal conversation and see how much of it is devil talk, you see? And how much of it is angel talk. The clue is angel talk will always be, what do I do for someone else, okay? What Shantideva said, the devil is the thought of what shall I do for myself today. The angel is the thought of what can I do for somebody else today. And that's all. That's all. Angel talk is always going to be, what can I do for someone else? which inevitably comes back to you and you get much more than you ever dreamed of. And then devil talk is always, I want this, you know, how am I going to get it today? Okay, got it? That's all. Listen to the conversation, check whether it's angel talk or devil talk, and try to reduce the devil talk, okay? Devil doesn't mean here evil. It doesn't mean you are, you know, trying to kill people or something. It doesn't mean that. It means you're not getting what you want, and you are exhausting yourself in the process. Okay, got it? Okay. Other question, one more question.
Thank you, Geshe, for teaching.
You're welcome.
Earlier you were saying that the angel said that over time, she's talking to the devil, that you're also empty because the moments are not connected. And you proceeded to say one moment ends and one moment begins. According to Arya Nagarjuna, though, there is no moment, you cannot find an ending or a beginning. So in terms of the angel, what is she speaking of?
Yeah, okay, good. I would rather go with Nagarjuna, okay? So if you think a moment has ended and another moment has begun, it's because that line has been drawn by seeds in your mind. That's all. Yeah, that's all. Okay? It is true that moments end and moments begin. You know, we're not having the afternoon class right now. So that must have ended. There must be a line between them. But that line is imposed by your names, right? Which are pictures coming from your mind. Okay? So we accept time, but only in a nominal sense, meaning only in a name sense, meaning the images in your mind have drawn the line between the past and the future, past and the present, but that line is fluid, right? Depending on different people's seeds, okay? All right, I want to go ahead a little bit because it gets sexy, and if we don't reach the sexy part, it's kind of sad. All right, 83, you can keep trying to manipulate the outside world, you will exhaust yourself, okay? Stop trying. 84, I like it. She says, by the way, Mr. Devil, any knowledge you gain from my talking to you has come from you, okay? And that's kind of cool that the angel will tell the devil that the person responsible for the angel is the devil. It's probably the worst thing you can tell a devil, to tell him all the angels are coming from you. Okay? So she's like, the teachings on emptiness are an echo. Okay? You are getting back the wisdom which you gave to others in the past. Okay? Got it? She makes the point. It's kind of a modest point to make, right? She's like, Mr. Devil, if you understand anything from our long conversation, the only person you have to give credit to is yourself, okay? You created me, okay? That's kind of poignant, feels like to me, that the angel is giving the devil credit for her existence, okay? All right, 85. Because the causes and conditions are complete, emptiness sings back to you like an echo, okay? You created these emptiness teachings, Mr. Devil, okay? And when you study emptiness in the coming days by watching your mind and reading the poem, right? Just keep being aware that you wrote the book, okay? She says, all right? Now, she says, I hate to say it, but there's no one place in the universe where you and I could stay together, okay? Forget the human mind. I'm not just talking the human mind, okay? The way, it's called Zindangi Yul. The way you hold things to be and the way I hold things to be are opposite. So we cannot coexist. She's against coexistence. She's a nationalist and not a globalist. Okay? I got my country, you got your country. You know, one of us benefits. And one of us has to be a loser, and it's going to be you. Okay, so I don't know if you've ever heard that kind of thing, but that's her position also. I hate this. She's like, either you're going to stay in this mind, or I'm going to stay in this mind. Okay, but we can't both stay. This town is not big enough for both of us. That's her repeated assertion. Now, 88, the devil responds. 89, you keep blah blah, Miss Angel. You're like Miss Blah Blah, you're blah blah blah, philosophy, blah blah blah. You blah blah, I do things, okay? You talk, you're a talker, I'm a doer. What do? I provide the 8 worldly thoughts to everybody, okay? Like I'm a doer, okay? I don't talk philosophy. I'm a supplier of useful things, okay? The 8 worldly thoughts, okay? They're called Jikten Chugye, right? I went and got them for you from... No. Nagarjuna, okay? They're in Nagarjuna, okay? In his letter to the king, okay? Shitting. Suhurleka in Sanskrit. Su means good, right? Heard means heart. Heard changes to hurl before leka. Suhurl, leka. Leka means well written. Okay, letter to a heart friend. Okay, and in there, Nagarjuna in a poem lists the 8 worldly dharmas. Okay, so I thought we would just mention them. Since who's taking credit? Yeah, the devil's like, you talk, I do. Okay, well, what do? I provide the 8 worldly thoughts to everybody. Well, what are they? Okay, here it is. Jikten ni ki chugye ni shitingle. Jikten Kemba. Jikten Kemba means knower of the world. And it's a way to address a king 2,000 years ago. A lokavid. You wise one. Okay? Because it was common for saints to advise kings in those days. Okay? Nyeda manye. Okay? Worried about what you get. And worried that you lose something is 2 of the 8 attitudes supplied by the devil. I don't talk, I do. I give people these 2 attitudes, okay? Based on believing that things are not coming from you, you can worry about getting stuff or not getting stuff. If you know it's coming from you, you just plant the seeds and you don't have to worry about it. Okay? It'll come. I like to tell the story. I went to Dharma Mitra's yoga class. It's a 2-hour class. It's a special suffering class. And I went for 2 hours. And this guy's hard. And when I was leaving, someone handed me an envelope. It had a check in it for $100,000. I never met this person before, And I'm like, who are you? You don't know me. Why are you giving me this money? I also don't know. I just felt like I should give it to you, No, and that's how we built the water. David Stump built the water system, 5 kilometers of water system at Diamond Mountain Retreat Center with this money, okay? And the guy just handed it to me, okay? So you don't have to worry about, am I going to get money or am I not going to get money? Don't worry about it. How much have we got this morning? $94,000. I was bragging yesterday about all this money, and then this morning we got $94,000. No, this afternoon. This morning we got, I don't know. Anyway, just plant the seeds and people send you checks. Okay? Got it? You get emails. Jigme, that email. Today, Sugang. It's $94,000. What are we going to do? Take it. I agree. Okay. No, I own, anyway. Don't worry about getting things and not getting things. Just plant seeds and relax. Things will come. Emails will come. Okay? Day means. Don't get so freaked out if you don't feel well today. Okay? Don't get so freaked out if you temporarily do feel well today. They will both pass. Okay? So don't get so excited when you have a good day, and don't get so depressed when you have a bad day. It's going to pass anyway. Just calm down. Plant good seeds, okay? So those are the third and fourth worldly thoughts, 5 and 6, Nian da mi nian. Nian means kirti. What? Yeah, people speak good about you on the internet, okay? Oh, he's such a nice guy, For every, what do you call that? Evaluation on the internet? What? Yeah, for every bad for every good review you get on the internet, trust me, you'll get a bad one. Don't worry. Don't let yourself, what do you call it? Esteem be determined by what you read on the internet about yourself, okay? Just let it go, okay? If you're a good person, then be happy. If you're not a good person, then be a good person. But don't get so concerned about what people write, okay? Nian da mi nian means don't spend your time thinking about it, okay? Then it says, te da mepa. Personally, to your face, people say, oh, you're so nice. You're such a good teacher, you're so handsome. And then other people behind your back say, he's so stupid, and he's boring, and he's got a bald spot. And just let it go, okay? Just, be happy with yourself, okay? All right. Having those 8 attitudes is the devil's, has supplied those 8, okay? He claims that he's not a talker, he's a doer, which is probably true. All right, then he says, okay, verse 90, and we got 1 more minute. I'm almost done. I am Mount Meru. You are something of a moment. Who's talking? Yeah, Mount Meru is the central mountain of the universe. It's like the Everest, okay? It doesn't move. It stays in one place. Where? The human mind, okay? I am Mount Meru, immovable. You are like, a flea crawling across the floor, okay? All right? You are a flash of lightning. I am the great salt sea, okay? According to Buddhism, the world is encircled by a great salt sea that never moves, right? And you're like a flash of lightning, all right? You are a blink of an eye. I am a mother's love for her child. Meaning, you love yourself like a mother loves her child. When ignorance is in your mind, when you don't understand where things are coming from, you have a self-love which is unshakable, a destructive self-love which is unshakable. And just for effect, she compares it to the love of a mother for her child, which is a pure love, which is a good love. Okay, got it? All right, and now one more line. Okay, 93. Okay, the devil says, some people say they will meditate, and by doing the meditation, they will drive me out of the mind. And they say, quote, I will meditate on the mind as it really is. Okay? It's a segue to what? Yeah, now you're going to get all the Mahamudra meditation versions, okay? And for me, it's just like visiting 26 yoga studios and listening to the ridiculous meditations, frankly, and mostly ridiculous. Visa bicar. I mean, he's going to take you on a tour of 26 ridiculous meditations, okay? That maybe they're nice, maybe they make you feel good for a while, and you will die anyway, okay? Got it? All right, so how do we segue into that? The devil says, some people say, they're going to kick me out. And she says, oh, really? How? And he says, they're going to meditate and kick me out. Oh, what kind of meditation? On the true nature of the mind, okay? Which is Mahamudra, okay? So now we get to the crux of the text, okay? Got it? Now he's setting you up. The devil's setting you up. Okay? Some people say they're going to get rid of me with a meditation. And then throughout this next session, he's going to say, Kemune, $100. Close, but no cigar. Kemune. Come on, don't guess. It says it's a joke. Kemo means a joke. Okay? It's the ancient, it's 2,000 years old word for, it's a goddamn joke. You know, they're going to kick me out of the mind. Yeah? Yeah, listen to the meditations they're going to do, you know. You won't believe it. You know, he's like, he says, I will dance on their brains. You know, I love these meditations, you know. Close your eyes. Don't think about anything. He says, I love that one. I'm dancing on that lady's brain, you know. And he keeps bragging about how pleasant it is for him to stay in a human mind when they're doing these stupid meditations, you know. Watch your thoughts go through your mind. Don't try to just stop them. Don't try to close your eyes. Focus on the black at the back of your eyelids. You know, try to think about nothing. You know, like that. There's no good, there's no bad. Someone kisses you, don't smile. Someone punches you, don't scowl. You know, all this stuff, you know. And he's like, after each one, he's going to say, and I continue my merry dance in their mind. Okay? He's bragging about what fertile soil it is for him in the mind of most meditators. Got it? Depressed yet? Okay, so we're going to learn by default. That's what the word I was looking for. By default, we will learn what's a correct meditation, because he will teach us 26 wrong ones that he likes, that he enjoys. Okay, because they don't. He says, "Ngala ne mi jung ne mi ne." Yeah, they don't lay a finger on me. He said, okay, these 26, these are nice meditations. Why? Because the devil can just sit there, and they're like, you know, and he's like, bye, you know. He's like, oh, it's so nice to be here. Okay, so 26 meditations that don't hurt at all the negative side of your mind. Okay? Got it? So we'll start that depressing trip tomorrow. Okay? Don't forget your workshop tomorrow and tomorrow evening, 3 to 5, is it? Part of the evening we would like to have, what do you call it? Like, we'd like to have you come up and entertain the rest of us with an angel-devil conversation. But it must be relevant to your real life, okay? To your current real life. If you're working at Colorado Springs government offices and they just hired some idiot from New York City who's bothering you this week, then let that be the subject of your angel-devil talk, you know. Angel's like, oh, I heard you had trouble at your office. Devil's like, yeah, I got this guy from New York on my ass, you know. And then angel's like, well, what's the problem? Devil, he's always criticizing the work I do, and he says I don't produce it on time, you know. And then angel's like, well, what are we going to do about that? And devil's like, I got to have a talk with the supervisor, you know. We got to talk heart to heart. I got to inform him about this guy, because every time the guy talks to the supervisor, he acts intelligent and sensitive. And then when he's alone with me, he's like a creep, you know. I got to talk to the supervisor. I'm thinking to record him on my iPhone, you know, and bust him, you know. And then angel's like, gee, you know, he sounds really bad. Probably you've never done anything like that, right? Okay? And then he says, and then she, no, I've never done anything. I really have not done anything like that. Yeah, but do you think you've ever done any small thing that might have grown into this thing? Okay? We want some drama tomorrow, okay? We want subtlety, okay? Demons are subtle. Okay, don't have this conversation like, wow, you don't know it's coming from you? Oh, I thought it was coming from me. No, it's coming from you. Okay, thank you. Okay? We don't want something like that, you know. We want a little rasa. We want some excitement, okay? We want some drama, you know. We want to know, we're quite not clear who's going to win the argument. And the devil has to be intelligent and sophisticated, okay? Because they are. Devils are not people who wear horns. They're people wearing GQ clothes who show up in your life and convince you that you should spend your time, you know, investing or something. Okay, got it? So I don't want to see any stupid devils tomorrow. I want to see super intelligent devils and slightly more intelligent angels. Okay? Got it? And make it cool. Make it something creative, okay? Got it? And I'm looking forward to listening to them. Are we good?